Right.
We'd love to hear about him again. Okay, so this great weather outside has us all going outdoors, but with that comes a lot of people just having the sniffles with all the allergies, Josh.
Absolutely. So we are now dipping our toes into the grass seed, higher pollen counts, and it's no surprise after the rainy conditions we felt earlier in the spring, allowing for all those grasses, the daisies to start to crop up across much of the Willamette Valley. And then you get that summer sunshine, a light breeze, and makes for a pretty picture, but maybe less than ideal for those who suffer from the allergies up and down the I-5 corridor. As our pollen counts are skyrocketing back up into the moderate and high category, keep in mind we've already been seeing some of those high pollen counts back up into the red levels, but that was things like trees and flowers. But now it's the grass seed that's really putting on the show, and a lot of folks tend to suffer from that from about now all the way until about the 4th of July. So be mindful of that up and down the Willamette Valley as we enjoy the sunshine with a beautiful live look out over downtown Portland, keeping a close eye on those bridges as Fleet Week is underway. 77, a welcoming sight to all of those crews entering our waterways as our temperatures up and down the I-5 corridor are hovering in towards the mid to upper 70s. A 80-degree temperature there out towards Troutdale, 50s and 60s along the shorelines. Those clouds are quickly starting to increase, eventually making their way back into the I-5 corridor as the rest of this evening does show a bit of a cooling trend after sunset, very typical, but then we start to increase that cloud coverage and it acts a bit more like a blanket for us, keeping us on the mild side as we approach early tomorrow morning. With those increasing cloud, sights like this of the Aurora Borealis, maybe a distant memory from over the weekend, thanks to Gabe and Jack for sending in those great shots. Pretty much seeing that east of the Cascades and out towards the eastern Oregon and Washington. So with the clouds, with the view line starting to track its way further to the north, tonight's chances of seeing the northern lights are far and few between. But our temperatures, that's really going to make it feel like the summer season as we work our way towards the weekend. Look, well above the average of 72 degrees by nearly 20 degrees above what is typical for the start of the month as we work our way towards the weekend, all because of a ridge of high pressure building off to the west. We are on the outskirts of the jet stream and of that high, helping to usher in a low pressure system to cloud up our skies, maybe bring an isolated raindrop or two tomorrow before high pressure builds once again. That's going to be the dominant weather feature this weekend, keeping us on the hot side. So we'll time everything out with our futurecast. There's those increasing clouds, maybe a raindrop or two, but our rain gauges are only expected to fill up to maybe a couple of 1/100ths of an inch if we are lucky enough to even see that. But our 7-day forecast does show a drying trend. I've gone ahead and highlighted Sunday and Monday in red due to the potential for the dangerous heat bouncing back up into the 90s for the first time this season. That's where we are expecting to see the high heat start to fade as we move our way into the middle of next week.
Okay, gonna get hot though.
It definitely is.
We'll be back with your political minute.